So I'm gonna do my best not to talk long about this, but there's really not a whole lot to talk about. It's pretty obvious. If you know, you know. But Travis Kelce is not doing great. Last couple games, actually, pretty much the whole season, seemingly. The last 3 games so far, right? It's a short season so far, but he's just been not himself, just not feeling great. You can just sense something's off about him. He looks basically like this. Even I was watching their game against the Falcons. I think which is their last game they played, and he even made a big play, or he made a really nice play, and you know he stood up, and I saw his face, and even during the midst of that play, he just looked depressed, like he's not himself, like he's a totally different person almost. Like he used to just be this really boisterous, kind of gregarious guy, outgoing, just had this incredible, expressive happiness to him. And look at him now. This is a depressed man. This is a man who is being psychologically beaten in some way, in one way or another. Sorry to say. If you know, you know. If you've been through dating a narcissist, if you've been through how that feels and what that does to your soul, to me this is what it looks like. Kelce, this is what's going through, and the reason why it's happening, 100%, the reason why it's happening is because he believes in love. He believes that there's the one out there for him. He believes that I think in his heart, he really is investing in this woman. And she's not a good woman. She's just not. She's not a good person in her heart. She does witchcraft. Sorry to say, you could call me a crazy conspiracy theorist. You can Google it, man. She does weird seance music. I mean, Hollywood is just Illuminati. It's just full of Satanism. It's full of deep, deep occult stuff. And you don't get to be where Taylor Swift is if you are not into that, if you are not a large proponent of it. It's witchcraft. I think I can't remember who said it. It might have been Jeremiah Cohen. There's a lot of people that I could recommend: Alex Jones, Bill Cooper, Henry Macau, Jeremiah Cohen. Um, there's a lot of truthers out here who talk about this kind of stuff. Um, but someone said, it might have been Jeremiah Cohen, who I think he took a lot of his stuff down. It's hard to even find his work anymore. He did excellent work on Hollywood and just exposing them all, how they're all into witchcraft. And I mean, everybody, like from Clint Eastwood to Meryl Streep to Oprah to everybody. Diddy, what's happening with Diddy is just the tip of the iceberg. These people are high level satanic evil. And they portray themselves as good. They portray themselves as like, and again, I don't know exactly what these people are doing. I'm not saying they're all doing the type of heinous, horrific stuff that Diddy was doing. I'm not saying that. That's not my claim. But I am saying that they're involved and they're around that. That's just Hollywood. That's what's going on in Hollywood. And you can't be that famous and be that recognized and be that much on the inner circle of Hollywood elites if you're not somehow associated with it, if you're not somehow practicing it to some degree. It's this weird, creepy inner circle of creepy stuff. Look up Bohemian Grove. The people who do Bohemian Grove are the famous people of the world, are the most famous people in the world. Trust me, these people who are doing these seances and they dress up in these robes and cover their heads and cover their faces, these are the most famous people on the earth doing that stuff. Guarantee it. There was a video that was released recently. We all know Alex Jones did a video on Bohemian Grove like back in 2000 something, 2004 or 5, something like that. I forget the date, but he put that out, and that's a pretty famous video. Someone else, some kind of no name guy who just is really good at sneaking around. He he goes up to, he sneaks around to, I forget his name, I can't remember his YouTube channel, but he like climbs bridges and stuff, and he's real like sneaky like that. He did a video, he snuck into Bohemian Grove and videoed it from the woods, another one, and it was basically the same thing as the last one, except this one, they were doing that cremation of care or whatever, except this one he was doing was it showed people like in robes walking. I mean, they're doing occult rituals, and these are the people who go to Bohemian Grove. Like I named names. I mean, it's just all the big names. I mean, they're all associated with it to some degree, and probably the more famous they are, the more they're associated with it, because it's a society, it's a secret society that promotes their inner circle, their own inner circle, and they own the media, they own Hollywood, they own all the big production companies, etc. So you can't sit there and tell me that Taylor Swift is not one of these people. And again, I've seen videos of her practicing witchcraft on her tours, her shows and things like that. I'm sorry, people are just people, normies, people who don't study this stuff. They really think like, oh, she's just a good Christian girl, like she's just kind of a country pop singer, from Tennessee or wherever she's from or wherever. There's so much on the underbelly of this world that people just don't know about, and it's sick and it's sad. And Diddy, what's happening with Diddy is just the tip of the iceberg. But this is what happens when a guy who has good intentions, who really wants to love a girl, and he probably has this, as a lot of us do, a lot of us men have this kind of, we have this kind of romantic, someone once said that men are the real, are the real romantics. Men have this kind of romantic, idealistic concept of love. I did, and to some extent it's in there somewhere. There's that little sliver of hope that, oh, maybe you'll find real love. Well, this is what we were all brought up in. We were all brought up by Disney, and oh, true love, and oh, love conquers all, and love is the thing that everybody wants, and we should have this beautiful, loving, marriage and whatever. Guys have that. I can't remember what it's called. It's called there's a red pill term for it. I can't remember what it is exactly, but it's essentially just being blue pilled in a way. You just don't understand female nature. You don't understand. I mean, look at her track record. She's dated so many men. She's dated so many famous guys, and not even, they're not even all famous. She just has a track record of just jumping from guy to guy. That's what her songs are all about. Listen to her evil feminist songs. This is why she's so popular. It's just social engineering is all it is. But this is why he's so hurt, because here's a guy who just believed in it, and that's the problem. Women can sense that about you. Women can sense when a guy has that sort of, oh, he really believes in love. I mean, do we really think this is going to work out? I don't think it's going to work out. I mean, it's possible that, I thought they were maybe engaged to be married. I don't really follow celebrities like that, but you hear stuff because it's such a high profile relationship. You hear stuff. I thought they might be engaged to be married. I thought I heard that, but this is not a happy dude, man. I'm sorry to say, this is not a happy guy. This is a life-changing event. Being with a terrible woman, or a woman who just screws you over, screws your emotions over in some way. I mean, she's a narcissist. If you watch her at all, you have to believe she's a narcissist. I mean, man, it's just, I just shake my head when I think about how messed up so many modern women are, and they're all listening to Taylor Swift. They're all listening to these pop stars. It's just garbage. It really is. It's garbage, and it's subliminal programming, and it teaches women to, be terrible, to be selfish, to be narcissists. It's not the old lovey music, of the mid 50s or the 1940s or 30s, all about love. This is why our grandparents stayed together, because it was simple. It was all about love. They worked on it. They were used to hard times. They struggled through the hard times. It wasn't about money. It was about love. This is why you see a lot of people in their 70s, 80s, and 90s staying together, whereas our generation, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, we can't stay together because we were raised on different music, a different type of culture, a different type of concept with, oh yeah, you can just jump from relationship to relationship. The grass is always greener, cut, cut cut that relationship loose. Go find something that makes you happy. This whole, it's never like, oh, work on it, girl. Make your husband happy, put him first. It's all about her, this narcissism. And this is what transfers over. And so this guy wants this nice, and this is the problem with being blue pilled. This is the problem with not being out of the matrix, with still just, you're in that sunken place because now you're with a woman who's a narcissist and probably practices witchcraft and probably is linked to demonology in some way, because that's what these people in Hollywood do. They're Kabbalists. They worship the occult. That's their religion. That's what the Illuminati is. All these sicko weirdos in these secret societies, the elite Hollywood. This is what they're doing, and it's getting exposed. Look at Diddy. It's getting exposed. Look at all the people he's been around. Look at all the high profile, insanely famous people he's been around. I thought it was pretty funny, but someone said in a comment that this is why Michael Jordan doesn't like to take pictures with rappers after what they're talking about, with what happened with Diddy. Because everybody around Diddy and who made videos laughing with Diddy, haha, your parties are so great, da 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 da, haha, like Diddy, you're amazing. Now they're all being, now there's some eyebrows being raised about these people who partied with Diddy, who were around them. Everybody's under fire now. I mean, all of sports, Hollywood, politicians, etc. They're all under fire. The truth eventually comes to the light. So, as a man, you got to protect yourself. Protect yourself from that narcissism, protect yourself from that feminist influence. And you wouldn't want to be with a woman who's into mainstream, entertainment, mainstream politics. You don't want to be with a leftist woman, with a Democrat woman. You don't want to be with a feminist woman. You don't want to be with a woman who follows these famous singers like Taylor Swift, etc. Because that's their religion. That's what they're feeding their soul. That's what they're programming their mind how to think. This is why men have to choose better to protect themselves. This is why I say take the red pill. This is why I say the red pill saves lives. Right? The red pill saves lives. This is why. Because you mess around with the wrong woman. You mess around and you fall in love, because obviously he has, or else he wouldn't feel this way. You mess around and you fall in love with the wrong woman, and what do you get? What's the result? The result is she takes your soul to some degree. I made that mistake, and mine was a tough one because she was unassuming. She was love bombing me. She was a covert narcissist. A lot of women out here are covert narcissists. And I think maybe if you're famous, obviously this isn't all of our cases, we don't deal with famous women. We don't deal with fame ourselves, 99% of us, right? But if you do happen to be famous, if you do happen to be wealthy and high profile like Travis Kelce has become over the last 5 years or so, you probably think, oh, I need a famous woman because, again, and I've said this before, but once you get famous and rich and super successful, etc., you can't trust any woman because she doesn't love you for who you are. She loves you for fulfilling her hypergamy. She loves you for your wealth, for your money, for your success. She doesn't love you for who you really are. So I think there's a concept, and this is why famous people marry other famous people, is there's a concept that, oh, I need to marry somebody as famous as me because then she doesn't want me for my money, or then she doesn't need me for my money. But that's really actually not necessarily true. Because again, if you weren't rich and famous and have all that money, she wouldn't be with you. But the truth is that the woman who's working at Starbucks, she wouldn't be with you either if you didn't have good money. You see, so this is so you realize that it's just female nature. It's not that, oh, she's famous too, so she doesn't need me for my money, so she really loves me for me. That's not really the truth. The truth is that she still loves you because you're famous. There's that, and then there's also the fact that I think some guys today are like, oh yeah, I need a woman who's a boss and who has her money together, and that, to me, that's a come up. And it is, in a sense, it's more attractive than a woman who doesn't have money and she's looking at you for all your money, etc. I can understand it from that angle, but it doesn't mean it's going to work out. And again, she still wants you for your money. Either way, she wants you for your success, just like you want her for her success. And if you think that she really loves you for you, you got another thing coming, man. I would say it's very rare for a woman any woman, let alone a famous woman, to really love you for who you are. And plus, I talked about J Lo and Ben Affleck. I mean, again, this stuff happens. Um, this stuff happens because Hollywood and fame and music entertainment and sports, etc. Because it's fleeting. It doesn't have a solid foundation. This is why if you're gonna marry somebody, marry a girl who has a foundation in the Bible, in church, because at least she'll have some morals. At least she'll have some semblance of traditional values, and she'll take the vows seriously, and she won't want to get divorced and things like that. But even still, as I get older, the more I realize it's a blessing to be single, because you never really can trust a woman to really love you for who you are, unless you just have nothing that she wants, unless you're just a nobody, and she just downright loves you, and she's stuck with you through years of you just not having any promise, and she just doesn't care about that. But that's just not how women are made up. Unfortunately, it's just not in their makeup for the most part. I mean, I've seen it. It's rare. It can and does happen, but yeah, it's just not. Women are just built different, man, and this is why guys need to take the red pill. They need to understand that. They need to understand that about women. If you're going to go into a relationship, understand that it's probably transactional. It's probably, she's exchanging intimacy, her sex, her love, for what you do for her, for your resources, for the lifestyle you provide, for your success, and your success determines your genetic replicability. That's probably not a word, but your success determines. It's just how guys look at a hot woman, and she's got these big boobs and these hips and this great ass, and she's sexy. This is how women look at men who are successful. It's the same thing. And in addition, they want the hot guy physically. So women have a much higher standard than men ever do. It's just unfortunate, but yeah, man, Travis Kelce. Unfortunately, I see a breakup in their near future. It depends. It depends on his inner fortitude. Is he gonna take her shit, and she's trying to make him submissive, because this is what feminist teaches women. Taylor Swift is a big feminist. This is what feminism teaches women, is to make their men submissive to them. Feminism is a gender supremacy cult. It just is. Sorry to say, feminists view men as below them. They view men as tools. They view men as a means to an end. Many women do anyways, but feminism really does. And it teaches women to just dominate men, and it teaches women that men are below them, etc. So in some way, shape, or form, Taylor is messing this guy up. She's messing his heart and his head up in some ways, and so it depends on his mental fortitude. He could some guys unfortunately double down, and they just try to stick it out for love, or try to stick it out to make the relationship work, and it's a mistake. If you got a bad apple, you gotta just toss it. You gotta get rid of it. And I know women are big on saying this. Women are always, just dump him, and it sounds counterintuitive for me to say that about men, but if it's that obvious, right? I mean, Taylor Swift is just the most obvious. She's a walking red flag. Millions of things are wrong with this woman. If you think you're going to be with a woman who's that famous, who's that much of a feminist, and she's not going to be a narcissist, and she's not going to mess up your head, I mean, you're living in la la land. Plus, If you look at Patrick Mahomes' wife, I mean, she's obviously insufferable. I mean, horrible, and she's buddy with Taylor Swift. I mean, like, go Google, go YouTube. I forget her name, Bethany Mahomes or something like that. But Patrick Mahomes' wife is just ugh, the way she behaves, and they're great friends, Taylor Swift, and so it's gonna rub off on her, but it's all a charade. It's all a facade and a charade. It's just all the world is a stage, man. And this guy's getting caught up in it. You can just tell he can't hide it. He's not as fake as them. He's maybe got some strong American upbringing, traditional value upbringing, maybe, even though he tried to be a player a little bit, tried to date black girls, and he's into hip hop and stuff, I'm sure. But now he's going to his countryside. He probably also likes country and also likes that old American traditional kind of values, which is a southern thing, and it's also it's attractive. I have it in me. I like it. But again, if you're with the wrong woman, it's over. You just can't be with the wrong woman, man. You just can't do it. I mean, I'm not saying men should jump from woman to woman. Pick your woman carefully, but I could see it from the beginning, just like anybody, just like Ben Affleck and J Lo. Like, how can you not see that from the very beginning? Well, you still got a lot of blue pill in you. I already said it all. You're very blue pilled, and also you got you got a lot of problems with fame, and you think, oh, I'll marry somebody who's famous, and yeah, some people think Taylor Swift is hot. I don't think she's that hot. A lot of people think J Lo's hot. I don't think she's. I mean, she's old. I don't think she's that hot anymore. And she's been with, for me, when a woman slept around and she's been with a lot of guys, that's a big turn off. It makes her a lot less hot to me. And I don't even think these women are that hot. I'd give them maybe both a C plus. Maybe J Lo, I'd give a B, a solid B as far as looks. Taylor Swift is too skinny for me, and I was never into her, just her face, just how she looks. I'd give her maybe a C, maybe a C plus on a good day, but it's just not my body type and my style. I don't really like her. There's a lot hotter women out there on the planet, but yeah, man, sad case. I predict a breakup soon, unless he wants to double down and try to ride out this misery. But his career could be over. I think there was some talk about him retiring even too at some point. This is a sad case, really, because he's just gonna fall out of the public eye probably once they break it off. And I think probably something in him was like, oh, Taylor Swift. I think some guys think this, and they're probably correct to think this, is that some high profile guys, if you're high profile, or you're maybe not quite as high profile, but you date like a super duper famous person like Taylor Swift, that raises your stock big time, as far as like how other women see you, and as far as how like popularity in the public, it can make you a lot more money. And I think he made a ton of money off like a podcast deal. We're talking like maybe even 100 million or something like that off a podcast deal, something crazy like that. So he's getting money out of this fame. He's getting a lot of benefits out of this fame. But again, if he really loves her, which it seems like he does, because you wouldn't be this hurt and disappointed if you didn't really love someone, it's gonna take a toll on his soul, and he's gonna have a hard road of getting over it. Sometimes maybe she's just particularly his type. Sometimes if you find a woman who's just particularly your type, and if she's a covert narcissist like the one I dated, she'll figure out what you like, and she'll figure out how to make you happy, and she'll figure out how to behave to sort of it's called love bombing, to sort of love bomb you. And that really really messes you up, because you don't understand, like, well, she was so great in the beginning, and then all of a sudden she's not great, or she changes, or her true personality comes out, or sometimes you don't even see it until like after the breakup, or like you might get little hints. For me, it was that bad, to where like I couldn't even get over it, because I didn't see who she really was, and I sort of pieced it together later, where I was like, oh, you know what, this whole thing is an act. For the most part, this person really has a jacked up personality, or they're really damaged, and the way they portray themselves is not how they really are. And then you get hurt in the mix of all that, because you thought you were with this person who really wasn't how they portrayed themselves as, who they really were. And then a lot of times you don't really see who somebody really is until hardships come, or until
trials come, because they will come in every relationship, and they come in life in general. Trials will come, and I don't even care how rich you are. Trials will come, and actually, if you're rich, it makes everything worse, because it's all good times, right? You expect everything to be good, but sometimes there's bad in life, and sometimes there's bad in relationships, and sometimes there's disagreements, and that's part of what makes a relationship a relationship. It's part of what makes love is that you stick together through the hard times, or through the disagreements, or through the fights, or through the arguments, etc. You stick together. That's what makes love. But now what I've experienced, and what I've seen a lot with these young women, is once there's a problem, they're just gone, And so, and I'm not saying that for Kelce either. I'm not saying, he needs to stick it through. No, he needs to see all the red flags about this woman. It's not that there's a hard times that they're going through. It's that she's just insanely a red flag. She's insanely toxic. You can just tell. And oh yeah, you're judging her. Da 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 da. Well, maybe, but it's easy to call a spade when someone is, doing witchcraft, and someone in their lyrics, all they're talking about is how much, how I'm a bad bee, and how like better I am than this man that I broke up with, and all this narcissistic crap. I mean, that's just obvious. It's like, that's just obvious right there in your face. Red flags that's who she is. That's how she is. You think that's not going to carry over? I mean, listen to J-Lo's songs, listen to how suggestive and sexual she was. And look, she's in her 50s and she can't keep a man. Look at Britney Spears, how sexual and suggestive her songs were. And now look at how maladjusted she is as an adult. I'm sorry to say, but it's just is what it is, man. Like, it's not that they're having hard times. Oh, you need to fight through it. It's that this person is really damaged and messed up and toxic, and you need to just get away from her. But maybe also you could say they should, work it out, or they should go through the hard times together. But the hard times also tend to bring out who you really are. So if they are going through hard times, and he's seeing this other side of her, just like Johnny Depp with Amber Heard, once they started to argue and fight, and hard times came, who she really was came out, and then Johnny was just like, oops, I married this completely different person, completely messed up person. Now I'm just suffering, and it takes years off your life. Look at how bad he looks now, unfortunately. And yeah, he did a lot of drugs, so okay, that factors in. But remember how just handsome and idealistic of a man he used to look like? And now look at him. And yeah, you can say, oh, he's 60, or he's in his 60s and he did a lot of drugs. Okay, that's true also. But but, it can make you look like a completely different person. This guy looks just down and out. His energy's gone, his shine, his confidence is gone, and he just looks depressed. He looks massively. He can't hide it either. He knows all the cameras are on him and he doesn't care. He can't hide it. It's coming out in his play. He's playing bad, or things aren't right. They're still a great team, but he's one of the cornerstones of the team. So it's gonna mess with their season. Not that I care. I'm not a Chiefs fan, but yeah, man, it'll mess your life up. It'll mess your work up. It'll mess your productivity up. It'll rearrange the way you think. It'll change your whole life, and it could be one of the best things that ever happened to you in a way, because it could make you stronger. Could make you red pilled, etc. I mean, many men experience this. Many men go through this, where they have, they're with the wrong woman, and then they learn a lot of deep lessons about life. And it causes them to grow, because they're forced to grow. But anyways, guys, I mean, I wish the best for him, and if it works out, it works out. Hopefully, whatever's the best case scenario. Obviously, I'm not trying to hate on anybody, or cast judgments or anything like that. It's just sometimes you just got to call a spade and say, yeah, man, you messed up, and you shouldn't have been with that woman, and that's why you need to take the red pill and, learn true female nature, learn how things really are. But I wish the best. I hope him the best. I hope he comes out the other side okay, and everything. Hope everything works out for him. So just like I do for all you guys. But anyway, appreciate you listening. Jay Lee, Northwest Podcast. Peace.